Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Still an active scene in Cary tonight where 2 people died by gunfire. Sky 5 over the scene at Windsor at Tryon Village Apartments. This is off Crossroads Manor Court. Thank you for joining us at 7 o'clock. I'm Gerald Owens. Cary police say that there is no threat to the public. WR's Willie Danley has been at the scene all afternoon. He joins us live. Willie, you spoke with people who said they're family members.
Yes, I did, Gerald, and as you can imagine, they were extremely emotional. They tell me the 2 people that were found shot and dead in that apartment were an estranged couple and parents to 3 adult children. I'll take you to the scene that we're seeing here. It has gotten a lot smaller. There are only a couple of Cary police vehicles that are still here. But if you take a look at this vehicle or this video, you can get a sense of what this police scene looked like earlier today. This was a very large presence here at this apartment complex. Officers arrived here around 3:45. They found 2 adults dead inside of an apartment with gunshot wounds. That investigation is still ongoing, and officers are here determining the circumstances surrounding that shooting. Since being in this neighborhood, I've talked to several people in the area who expressed shock about hearing what happened at this apartment complex. One woman that I spoke to moved to this complex only 2 days ago. She says that her heart goes out to the family.
Just thinking about, how I would feel if I no longer had my parents and if I was in that situation. Obviously, I couldn't even begin to understand, but my heart just feels so heavy right now.
It truly is a heartbreaking situation. Right now, Cary police as well as forensic teams are still here on scene taking pictures and determining the circumstances that led up to this shooting. We're going to continue to stay on top of this story. In Cary, Willie Danley, WRAL News.
All right, this is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. We have been monitoring that shooting at the Emory University campus. A lot of developments just in the past few minutes. We have learned, confirmed through the Atlanta Police Department, that the suspect in that shooting is dead. An officer, according to Atlanta Police on their X post, an officer was wounded and taken to the hospital, but the NBC affiliate in Atlanta is reporting that officer has died. The shelter in place was lifted around 20 minutes ago. I want to take you to live pictures from the ground. You can see this is still a very active scene there at Emory University. We also have confirmed that bullets hit at least one office at the CDC building, which is located across the street from that shooting incident. All of this was focused around a CVS there at Emory University. I want to show you right now on this other screen, we are awaiting a news conference from Atlanta Police. Hopefully we'll get some new details here shortly. There are no other reports of injuries at this point.
Thank you, Brian. A lot of the flooding we saw this week still has not receded, especially in Cary. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joins us live from Bond Park. Kat, some areas in Cary saw nearly 10 inches of rain, and you're standing in front of some of the consequences of that.
9.85 inches of rain, and you're talking 1 inch per hour rainfall rates pretty much all day Wednesday. And this is what's left at Bond Park in Cary. We're not at the lake. We're actually on the trail that goes around the lake right now. And this extends the flooded trail about the length of a football field. So about 100 yards of the trail you can't walk. And when you look to the left of the trail, you can see the handrail has collapsed. So what typically is here is a little stream that runs perpendicular to the trail here, and the sheer force of that water just completely washed that handrail out on the side. It's still going to take quite a bit of time for this to recede. Hopefully by Sunday there will be more noticeable improvements. But let's take a look at your weekend forecast and what to expect. We've seen the clouds clear out today, and now for some sunshine. Finally, the white you see on visible satellite, that's the lingering clouds around Johnston County, Harnett County. But we have cleared out, especially from the Triangle points north and some of our southern counties as well. 78 in the Triangle. We did get into the 80s today. We're in the upper 70s area-wide right now, but no significant rainfall out there. That's the good news. A couple of spotty showers left on the dual Doppler 5000 radar, but that's about it. And this weekend is a bit warmer. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s again. Only a 20 to 30% chance of rain this weekend. As for cloud cover, it'll be partly to mostly cloudy both days, but not a full overcast and not an all-day rain, certainly like we saw much of the week. Of course, all of this rain is having consequences, especially around Cary and Apex. Sky 5 took a look at some of the lingering damage today. This is Cary's Prestonwood Country Club. The view from Sky 5 shows significant flooding across multiple greens. Golf cart paths are still impassable. We saw a grounds crew working to clean up one of the greens. Here's Bond Park in Cary. Portions of the trails here are still closed because of flooding. It isn't just the trails. Green space around the park is also covered with water. Next, Sky 5 flew over the sinkhole that has shut down Olive Chapel Road in Apex. This is our first aerial view of the damage on this road, and 2 of the 3 lanes have collapsed, and you can see debris on the road left over once the water receded here. The NCDOT expects it will take months to repair the road. Kat Campbell, WRAL News.
Boy, that is a mess. All right, Kat, thank you. You can access the radar with the newly redesigned WRAL weather app. Just turn on the push notifications to receive important alerts right for your location. And the app is free. A 17-year-old boy pleaded guilty to killing a 13-year-old girl in Raleigh. Xylon Abrams could spend more than 7 years in prison. This happened in April of last year. Police found the victim, Makia Daniel, at the Trails of North Hills apartment complex. WRAL's Kirsten Clark talked to the family about the outcome.
I spoke with Makia Daniel's mother, Nicole Daniel, in an emotional conversation over the phone. She described sitting in a courtroom in that building in disbelief with the outcome. But the district attorney tells me it was their only choice. The plea deal is spelled out in court records we obtained. The state agreed to lower the charge to voluntary manslaughter. Wake County District Attorney Lauren Freeman tells me it was a matter of evidence.
As the investigation of this matter unfolded, what became clear was that this was an accident, that it was a matter of teenagers who unfortunately were playing with a gun, who thought the gun was unloaded.
Because of that, Freeman says the state could not move forward with the higher charge. For Nicole Daniel, it is unfair. She believes Abrams and others who may have been involved are not being held accountable for the pain he has caused her family.
Her life was taken for no apparent reason. I don't think justice was served yesterday, to be honest. I think that he got off scot-free. I think that he is not taking this serious.
Daniel says the outcome has only added to the grief she feels after losing her daughter.
To get to the resources.
And there was another face in the courtroom. I met up with community activist Diana Powell to hear her thoughts. Abrams was a member of her support group, Safe Space.
Is it fair? Did he get a right sentence? That's up to Xylon to figure that out. And for him to come to the conclusion to accept the plea, I think he's found some kind of grace within himself to get this behind him. He understands about accountability.
Powell says she plans to speak with Abrams soon, while Makia Daniel's family is struggling to move forward. The district attorney acknowledged that it is a sad situation for all families involved. As for Nicole Daniel, she says she wishes there was more she could do to change the outcome. In Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Well, let's roll through some of the other highlights to headlines today. Here are 5 things you should know right now. We're getting our first look at the boat involved in the crash on Harris Lake that took a girl's life. From Sky 5, you see the boat there with the green paint. 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll died in the crash. A woman was critically injured. The boat was seized as evidence. It was taken to the Wildlife Resources Commission depot. The former Wake Forest Chamber of Commerce president appeared in court today, accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from the agency. Liz Simpers is accused of spending more than $69,000 on home repairs, a party bus, Amazon products, and more. One of the Republicans running for North Carolina's U.S. Senate seat is getting out of the race. Andy Nilsen announced today he is suspending his campaign. Republican Senator Tom Tillis is not running for re-election. President Trump has endorsed RNC Chairman Michael Whatley for the Republican position. Former Governor Roy Cooper is the Democratic frontrunner. A judge ruled against the Raleigh nightlife ordinance, calling it illegal and unenforceable. The rule requires businesses to get a nightlife permit and pay fees. Glenwood South has been the subject of debate over the last few years, with some residents complaining about noise and crime. The city has since increased the police presence in that area. Today is the final day for North Carolina SBI agents on the ground in Texas. They spent 2 weeks helping with the search and recovery effort. The flooding last month killed more than 100 people. Many others were missing. After all the flooding we have seen this summer, a local mayor wants the state to find ways to prevent future flooding. Spring Hope was one of the areas hit hard this week. Still ahead, his plan to bring towns together and avoid another disaster. Plus,
President Trump wants to exclude non-citizens from the census. Will that lead to fewer Democrats in Congress? We'll check one local lawmaker's claim coming up.
shrimp is a staple in North Carolina, but new rules could change what's on the menu. A proposed ban on shrimp trawling in certain waters is raising concerns in the communities that rely on the industry. A bipartisan coalition of lawmakers, chefs, and shrimpers is pushing back on efforts to restrict shrimp trawling in the state's sounds and nearshore waters. Supporters of the ban say it would help protect sensitive fish habitats. But many restaurant owners and seafood workers believe the impact would be devastating.
If we lose that, we will lose business. We'll lose revenue. And we're a big establishment. We have a lot of employees counting on us to make their living. And believe it or not, shrimp is a large part of their paycheck.
The ban passed the Senate earlier this summer but stalled in the House. Lawmakers say the issue is not dead, and those on the water are bracing for the next round. President Trump wants the next U.S. Census to exclude non-citizens. Some Republicans claim that including immigrants in the census gives Democrats a boost in Congress. WRAL's Paul Spey checks one of those claims for PolitiFact.
Every 10 years, the U.S. Census Bureau tries to count the U.S. population. The government then uses those numbers to determine how many seats each state gets in Congress. Now, historically, census takers don't ask whether someone is in the country illegally. And one North Carolina legislator claims that's led to a big advantage for Democrats. Take a look.
And then I read a few weeks ago that because they count illegal aliens in the census, the Republican majority would be 27 seats in the Congress instead of 3.
Now, what was he talking about? We reached out to him and asked what he meant. And Representative John Bluss said this: Democrats have 24 more seats in Congress than they would have if unauthorized immigrants were not counted in the census. Now, is this right? Well, it's hard to track, partly because we don't know exactly how many people are in the U.S. illegally. Different groups have different estimates. Bluss said he couldn't remember where he got his exact number, 24 seats. But reports we found did not back up his claim. The Pew Research Center found that excluding unauthorized immigrants from the 2020 census would affect 3 seats in Congress. Democrat-led California would lose a seat, but so would Texas and Florida, which are more Republican-leaning. The Center for Immigration Studies, that's a think tank that favors lower immigration levels. They recently reported that if the census were held in 2024, it would affect 4 seats in Congress. And then there's the Cato Institute, which is a libertarian group. They reported last year that non-citizens primarily moved to Republican-leaning states between 2019 and 2023. You can see their chart here. We found other studies too, but none of them back up Bluss' claim, and that's why the Truth Meter rates it false. Read more about this issue at WRAL.com.
Our PolitiFact team checks statements from people across the political spectrum. If there's something you want us to check out, go to our website, or you can email us at reportit@WRAL.com. The mayor of Spring Hope is calling for the creation of a statewide committee to prevent flash flooding in small areas. It comes after 2 people were swept away and died in rushing waters along Lewisburg Road this week. Mayor Kyle Pritchard wants to identify clogged waterways and outdated infrastructure to prevent future flooding.
The goal is to reach out to the different communities that are experiencing this flash flooding, find patterns, locate the areas in the state that are experiencing it the worst, that experience it the worst on a regular basis.
The State Department of Environmental Quality provides funding to clean creeks and reduce stormwater runoff. Pritchard says the committee would focus on solutions at local trouble spots that can be used statewide. One area where we've seen some trouble with flooding is Bond Park in Cary. That's where we find meteorologist Kat Campbell. Kat, you've been out there most of the day. Has the water receded any?
You know, there have been some improvements today, Gerald, but not the leaps that are really needed for people to get out here this weekend. The trail is still going to be a big problem. This area is flooded about 100 yards here, and this is the trail you need to get to the boathouse. So one of the main areas you've got to walk along. You can see the handrail on the side has fallen over from the force of the water and the floodwaters in this area. Ducks are enjoying it. I mean, they've got a whole new area to explore here. Out in the middle, there's a duck right there where we would normally be walking through this area. Now, this area actually has a weather monitor nearby, and it recorded 9.85 inches of rain. That was the final tally. But let's talk about the weekend, because we definitely need some improvements, and those people across the water are trying to figure out how they can get here to safer ground. The Dual Doppler 5000 radar is showing that there's just a couple of sprinkles left over. It's not anything significant. No flooding rains, no thunderstorms expected, but we do have a shower near Clayton. For the remainder of the evening, we dry out. Temperatures are around 72 at 10 o'clock tonight. So if you're headed out and about for your Friday, temperatures should be pretty nice. A little more humid than what we've seen earlier in the week, though. Low pressure offshore is going to stay away from us, so no imminent tropical threats to worry about here in North Carolina. But we are going to watch for maybe some development in the main development region next week. As you plan your weekend, expect it to be warm. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s, still partly to mostly cloudy, and Sunday we have a 30% chance of rain, but we lowered rain chances to just 20% Saturday. We may need to bump up Sunday's rain chances a little bit more. You can check in for an update tomorrow morning with meteorologist Chris Michaels on that. Temperatures are in the 80s by noon on Sunday, so if you wanted to do something like go to a pool, Sunday's going to be the better day this weekend to do so. Hopefully some of these flooded areas see some improvement by Sunday. And look at that, the Cary sensor is back. It's 77 degrees here in Cary at the moment, 78 in Raleigh, 79 in Durham, and 76 in Zebulon, 77 in Garner. If you're headed out for a dog walk in the morning, 68 to start the day, 84 by 4 o'clock. I'm sure the dogs will be happy to have some drier weather. I know mine certainly will. Rain chances tomorrow should be the best in eastern North Carolina. And just keep in mind, these are more of your typical summertime storms, mainly during the afternoon. And it's just going to be a chance. It's definitely not washout conditions along and east of I-95 will be that best chance. Over the next 7 days, temperatures warm back up. We're going to be back near 90 starting Tuesday and low to mid 90s for the rest of the week. Rain chances do ramp up a little bit Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Each of those days has about a 40% chance of storms, but we don't have anything in the forecast like what we saw this week with the all-day type of rain event. Certainly hotter weather on the horizon, but this area just can't take much more rain out here. It's been remarkable to see that it's not just by the lake where there are issues. We're a pretty good ways from the actual boathouse here, and there are still some significant issues on the trails. And this isn't the only spot like this out here, Gerald.
Hey, Kat, I noticed you wore the appropriate boots for this assignment today. Boy, there's some standing water out there.
Mosquitoes, too.
All right, Kat, thank you. Hey, if there's inclement weather in your area or breaking news you want to tell us about, go to WRAL.com/report it. You can send us your video, your pictures, or your information. Major League, Minor League, Little League, a home run derby. A lot of baseball happening this week. And that has us thinking about playing ball way back when. We dug into the WRAL archives and found a Little League story from 2000. Your Friday moment of nostalgia after the break. At this time tomorrow night, power hitting will be on display in Durham. They're getting ready for the Home Run Derby X at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. It begins at 7 p.m. Each player gets a 2.5-minute at-bat. The opposing team will be in the outfield during that time. Teams earn points for home runs and for catches. This year's lineup includes former big leaguers Andrew Jones, Ryan Zimmerman, and Manny Ramirez. It's a busy month for baseball. You have the Home Run Derby X, the Major and Minor Leagues, and Little League. The Little League World Series is underway right now. So is the Little League Softball World Series, which is being played in Greenville, North Carolina. North Carolina's team actually beat Japan yesterday 3-2. Little League has been a big deal in our area for a long time. Over the years, we've covered the team in West Raleigh several times. We went through the WRAL archive, and we found stories from the baseball and the softball diamonds, from kids who play the game to the parents who watch from the stands. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news. We leave you with your Friday moment of nostalgia. Have a great weekend.
First heard him in Sports Illustrated just a couple of weeks ago, and they were showing his batting average.
Brian Fedorovich is warming up on the same West Raleigh field Josh Hamilton played on 6 years ago. Here he is, caught on home video back in 1993. Eddie Watkins used to coach Josh, a legend then and now.
Would I have projected him to be a first-round major league player? You know, it's hard to say.
1, 2, 3, play!
Good hit, go, go!
I think it gives them some hope and encouragement to know that on the same field that they're playing on, Josh Hamilton played. And it's something they can dream for.
This former Little Leaguer's success has these young players running a little faster and dreaming a little bigger.
To go to Major League and play for the Orlando Braves.
It's inspired me to work a little harder, to to push me to that extra little step up the road.
These guys are just a handful of the more than 3 million Little Leaguers across America. There are roughly 6,000 major and minor league players, so what's the chance of one of these Little Leaguers making it big? Well, a spokesperson from the Little League's national headquarters says about 1 in 10,000. But that isn't dashing this Little Leaguer's major league hopes.
Go on to the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. Be their shortstop.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.